Alright, for today, my goal is to gather all of the new animals from the warm and cold biome and put them in a secure location. Luckily, I have the cold and warm biomes basically in my backyard, so it wasn't hard for me to get the cold chicken and a cold pig pretty fast. And now I only needed a cold cow. It was relatively easy getting both the animals back to my area, and when I did, I just hooked them up to my horse pen. The pig and the chicken shall be my horse's new friends. It was relatively difficult. As you can see by the day counter, it took 2 days for me to find this cold cow. But when I did, I hooked him up, put him on the horse pen, and went searching for some warm mobs. When I arrived in this area, I was quick to find a pig, and then I found a chicken right near it, so I had to run over and get it quickly before it ran away. So far, getting these mobs was even easier than I thought before, but then I saw a warm cow hiding behind a tree. He's trying not to get taken, but he still will. Now it's time to take them from their home to live the rest of their days in a container for my amusement. Transporting them was pretty easy, and I even got to put them right next to their cold counterparts, so they can get to know each other better. I even got an armadillo. Not sure why, but since it won against the crab and it's in the warm biome, might as well capture it. Uh-oh, now I'm in the Nether. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, now I remember. That day was the day I logged into YouTube and saw so many people playing with the happy gas, so I thought it was out, and I was gonna capture it and give it its own box. Little did my gullible self know, it wasn't out, and I foolishly went into a soul sand biome, and, well, you can see how it turned out. Yeah. Anyways, after that tragedy, I started to dig down under the Hall of Souls to start construction on the containment area. I want to keep the spiral staircase going down. Now that this area is all done, I'm gonna dig out an area to keep all the mobs. So here I am just digging out a containment area of where I want the mobs to be. It's fairly simple, although it took a while. And now that it's all done, I needed dirt from the savanna biome, and then I started landscaping. Here I am trying out a landscaping idea. I wanted a miniature hill because I didn't want the area just to be flat. I also really wanted to build a tree. It was a bit of a struggle since I am building this in such a tiny area, but I think it turned out really nice in the end. You can really feel my struggle and pain as I try to build this tree in this small containment area. It was just so difficult. With just finishing up a little bit of landscaping, and now the warm biome is completed. All it really needs now is grass and lights. I destroyed some flowers so I could get some light blue concrete so I could make a sky in the containment area. Here I am really struggling to decide if I think white stained glass looks better than regular glass. At the time, I just really didn't know which one would be better. Here I am adding lights to the inside of the containment area so no yuckies or ickies could spawn in. And plus it blends in with the dirt fairly nice with the brown carpet. Really, the only problem that I had was I needed lights somehow on the ceiling. Now came the hardest part, actually getting the animals down into the containment area. Getting 4 animals down a 1 by whatever spiral staircase is way harder than it looks. It's almost like they don't want to do this. It took some effort and some time, but now all of them are safe and sound in the area. Now we just gotta work on the second containment area. It needs to be just like the other one, except it's gonna hold the cold mobs. But now it's here, and now it's completely dug out. And now that this area is completely dug out, it's time for material collection. The whole point of the cold area is to be in the mountains. So in order to pull off the effect, I'm gonna need some granite. I'm also gonna need some grass. Some gravel would be nice. And to top it all off, a pumpkin. I already dug out the area where I want the sky to be, and now I just need to start landscaping. So here I am using all of the blocks that I've got together just to try to give the effect that you're really in the mountains. The mixing of block proportions was fairly difficult, but I figured it out and I think it turned out great in the end. And here it is finished. Not the prettiest, but it'll do. I also added some extra detail and some lights. If you noticed in the last clip, there is a shroom light on the ceiling. So that's why I'm going to the Nether, to get more shroom lights. I'll be able to not only light up the cold area, but also the warm area. And this should be foolproof to mob spawn. And now it's my favorite time again, bringing the animals! Yay! Surprisingly, these guys were a lot more cooperative than their warmer counterparts. I guess it's because they don't have hot heads. And soon enough, I was able to put them in, some might call it unnatural prison, but they'll call it their new home. And now both of the chambers are complete. And now I just wanted to add a couple of new builds to this area because it just looks so bland and empty. I've been thinking about building a bridge, a tractor, and a new house. I didn't record it, but here's the new bridge I built. It looks pretty pimp, and even better, it's in a convenient area. And when it's nighttime, it looks absolutely stunning. Here I am laying down some groundwork for a new mining house. I spent my time bone mealing and chopping down a lot of trees because I was miles away from any oak forest. It's a slow building process, but when you go for vanity instead of quality, you just have to strap on and hope that it works out in the end. I want this house to have two parts. One area for mining, and the other area for living. And on the second floor is gonna be the actual house, and the viewing area. It was tedious work, but by nightfall, I was able to finish the first floor. I started quick construction on the house. I didn't want it to be too extravagant, and I didn't want it to be too basic, so I tried to go for a villager house look. I was kinda iffy on the roof, but I think that's as good as it's gonna get. And now I just wanted to quickly build a tractor right next to the barn. It isn't all that hard. You just need black stone for the wheels, smooth stone slabs for a base, and to finish it all off with some polished andesite, and you got yourself a tractor. I also wanted to build a mini fishing dock over here. And now here it is.